What's your favorite reinforcer? I know what mine is, but how do we know what our students' favorite reinforcers are, especially if they can't tell us? Hi, I'm Shira.
And I'm Shayna.
We're behavior analysts that create weekly content about how to teach individuals with autism so that they make real progress. And we create shareable resources to make your job just a little easier.
Today's topic is all about ABA preference assessments. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new video releases. So I have a problem with staff follow through sometimes and, them, really understanding what a quote unquote reinforcer is. Most of my staff understand it, obviously, they've been there a while, but, sometimes you get in the rut of like, well, I'm always going to give out this one particular reinforcer to every single kid. And they call it a reinforcer, even if it's not increasing the future likelihood of behavior, which is what the definition of reinforcement is. So to alleviate that, during staff training, usually every 6 months or so, I'll give out a sheet, like a would you rather questions to staff. And on there, it would be things like, would you rather have a bubble bath or a shower? Would you rather eat chocolate or chips? She's smiling right now because she's got chocolate in front of her. Would you rather do this or do that? Or do you drink coffee or do you drink tea? And then, we go around and we talk about it. And some people say, oh, well, I really like a shower. I really like a bath. Oh, I can't stand this, but I really like this. And it really does drive home that point of, well, guess what? We all like different things. So should our learners.
And so because reinforcement is such a big part of what we do, and by reinforcement, we mean that it's that part of behavior change. It's only reinforcement if it changes the future likelihood of behavior. So I can give a student bubbles as much as they want, but it's only a reinforcer if it actually changes that student's behavior. So now that we're all on the same page of what reinforcement is, it's important to know what our students' individual preferences are, because then we can use the principle of reinforcement to change behavior. So part of that is what we call preference assessments. And it sounds intimidating and it sounds like a really complicated, ABA procedure, when really it's just finding out what they like.
Sometimes if you have a student who's verbal, it's as simple as saying, hey, what do you want to work for today? Or, hey, do you like this or do you like that? What do you want after we do math? Sometimes that's all a preference assessment has to be. It doesn't need to be any more formal than that. It doesn't need to be a scary sheet of paper that you've got to do all these randomized trials and everything else. It can be just as simple as, hey, what do you want?
I mean, those do exist. There's plenty of ways that they talk about in the textbooks of multiple stimulus presentation with replacements and all of that, but you don't have to worry about that for the purposes of finding out what students are motivated for. What I like to do is just watch them, see what they're interested in. And sometimes that includes like, what are they gaining with some of the negative behavior or some of the challenging behavior? Is it that they really want someone to chase them? Is it that they really like being silly? Sometimes we become a little bit limited with reinforcers that we offer a student as in a tangible, a toy or an item. And if we think about all of the different functions of behavior, students are motivated for lots of different things. And so if we can use things like attention or sensory, tangible, but also escape can be a reinforcer. So think about, what are they doing? What are they currently engaging in? Watch them with their peers, watch what toys they go for, watch like what they do and get an idea for what motivates them. And it could be any one of those things, and be creative. Don't just, use those tangibles as reinforcers, but give them, an opportunity to have silly time, or to stand at the front of the room and tell a joke, or to run around the halls and be chased, if that's a safe option. Because if they're going to do it anyway with the challenging behavior, what we could do is channel those preferences into using them as reinforcers for behaviors that we want to see more of.
I had a student one time who loved silly noises. He would emulate the subway noises and elevator noises and car noises. So we used to, during our breaks, or he would work for playtime, but I would make, underneath the table a rocket ship, and he would get to play these noises, and we pretend we were on an elevator, and he'd do the beep, beep, beep noise, and we'd go into outer space and we'd be on the moon. And on the moon, guess what was waiting for us? Flash. But it was super, super fun for him. And just incorporating that within the therapy session was enough of a reinforcer for him.
And, you know, we had a student who was very challenging to find his reinforcers. And I kept asking the people who were working with him, like, what do you think he's into? And they're like, nothing. He just wants like play on the iPad. And so we thought, well, you know, we'd get some snacks and see what he's interested in. So we just did it really informally. You know, went to the supermarket and I bought a whole bunch of like, you know, fun snacks. And I sat down during snack time and I would pretend to eat them. And I'd offer him one. It's like, oh, do you want to share my snack? And sometimes he'd go for it. Sometimes he wouldn't. And if he was interested in it, guess what? That was his preference. If he liked it and he told me he liked it, then we may use that as a reinforcer. So it's something as informal as that. It doesn't have to be, you know, presented in an array of 5 with a replacement or without a replacement. Just think about tapping into what they're into and what they're motivated for. And that changes. You do have to do this somewhat frequently because they may either get bored of something that has been acting as a reinforcer and then stops becoming reinforcing, or their preferences change, you know, as we grow up and as we change. So do the things that we enjoy. So continuously update that and check in with what they're into or what the latest trends are and what you can create as a reinforcer.
Absolutely. It's so important to continually update that. And even on a regular basis, or even look at the time of day. So I'm going to tell you a little secret. This year and I were eating chocolate right before this video. And if you were to offer me chocolate right now, I don't want any. I've had enough. Trust me, I ate enough. But, an hour ago, I would have said, yes, give me chocolate, right? Tomorrow, I might say, give me chocolate, or I might say, actually, no, I really want the chips. So it's just a matter of making sure that you're constantly updating that, but also based on time of day. Have they just eaten lunch? Have they just had a whole bunch of play and they're tired? They don't want to do anymore. So looking at that as well.
And another good source are the parents. You can always ask parents, teachers, caregivers of what this child is into. It's also good to start that conversation because sometimes if they get too much of something at home, it limits our ability to use it as a reinforcer. Or if they get too much of it at school, the parents might not be able to use it. So kind of being on the same page with what we're using as reinforcers, how we're using those reinforcers, what a child might be into at home, how we can use that at school. All of those are good conversations to have to keep those reinforcers, you know, meaningful and useful.
We have a really cool list. It's pretty comprehensive in terms of, different things that people can like, broken down by, food, toys, different activities. And we're giving that out. So click in around this video for that link. It's just a reinforcer assessment.
And you can keep using that and updating it as their preferences change. Ask the parents to fill that out so that you just have a running list of anyone who's working with a student now can check that list and know that they really like tickles or they really like this song. And it's a really easy place to go to know what their, specific reinforcers are.
For more information on ABA preference assessments, visit howtoaba.com to claim your free reinforcer checklist. As well, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and leave a like and comment below if you have any further questions.